You see these puppies behind me. So there's a lot of dogs roaming around here, you know. That one looks like he's kind of watching out for his house. This is so different than at home. Trying to figure out the dog dynamics is really interesting, right? There are a few that I think don't actually have owners, and they look a lot scruffier, and sometimes you see people feeding them. But most of these do have homes, and they just don't have yards so much. So this is where they kind of roam around, and you see all the dog, you know, the interactions going on, social interactions between them. And there was this one smaller, younger, feisty dog kind of chasing down an older one and really giving him shit, you know, barking at it and then attacking at its neck. And the other one was like, whoa. And so, you know, the mom and me, I had to like scold it for a moment, and it stopped, you know, and it looked at me, and it went away from the other one for a bit, gave it a little bit of a break. And then an elderly lady is kind of walking up, and she starts speaking to me as though I completely understand Spanish, and I didn't want to stop her. But I said the phrase like, children, you know, that was like the best word I could come up with to kind of try to explain that I was just sort of like breaking up a fuss between these puppies. And she said, I think she was trying to explain that the feistier one was hers, and that it's usually at home with her, but she was like going to the market, you know, she showed me your keys and she showed me your change, you know, and then when she leaves, you know, I was kind of projecting a lot of what she was trying to communicate. But what endeared me the most was that she was willing to stop and take the time and talk about, you know, these dog relationships and her relationship with her own dog and what was going on, just not in such a hurry. And even though I'm here in her neighborhood, which I know there's probably a bit of a sense of gentrification because you do see tourist things mixed in with traditional living. That's hard for any community. They're happy for the money that comes in and the changes, but it's still hard, right? So that she saw me in this positive way, that she wanted to engage me like that, really made me feel good, because clearly I'm not from here, you know, and that's nice. When we travel, let's try to imagine what it's like for us, what it would be like for them wherever we are. And coming back to the topic of gentrification, this is something I think all travelers need to be very aware of and very sensitive to, and recognize, you know, that the same words, you know, immigration in one community and, you know, invasion of foreigners, like all of this kind of terminology and stuff varies depending on where you are and what attitudes are and financial need in that community. There's all different kinds of things. So we should not broad brush it, in my opinion. We should be very sensitive and try to understand what local attitudes are and what we can do to try to make things easier on everyone. Sitting down for a moment. See, you okay? She's okay. Steep stairs. Because I do believe fundamentally that it is good for the planet in the broad sense, that that humans are getting out and meeting one another, because we do need to learn how to get along, and the more we can understand and share with others, the closer we can come to that. I think we should also be aware of the environmental impacts that moving around the planet has, and use the most environmentally friendly form of transportation we can, depending on, you know, the situation, but being aware of it and kind of trying to weigh it into our decisions, be it, you know, cruise ships or jet planes or whatever it is. There's pros and cons to all of these, and I think we are all stewards of this planet and should all be aware. Sorry, that turned into a real soapbox, but I do feel passionate about these things, and I do try very hard to walk my talk. Have a great day, friends. Thanks for listening.